And welcome to another edition of the Wandering Ukie Cheese Cafe, your one-stop shop on YouTube for all things microbrews, cooking, grilling, home renos, gardening, and any other weirdness and bad jokes included. As usual, you're going to learn something, you're going to laugh, you're going to be confused, you might cry, and if you've done all the above, then I know I've done my job properly. So before I continue on with this, probably a good idea. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can get all future updates, and don't be afraid to hit that like button. That way, YouTube's able to promote my video to other places besides my inner bubble. Instead of my usual circle of friends, family, I mean someone across the globe is able to see this crazy stuff and think, what is this guy on? How is he not in the padded cell yet? And etc. So now that I got that out of the way, let's get on to the show. I'm going to be doing some cooking, hanging out outdoors, but I want to do a little educational bit right now. How am I going to explain this? Well, let's get started. Well, I'm on the side of my house right now, and I have a complete brick facade. So one of the things I've been trying to do in the last year is seeing how I can make my house more energy efficient and not have to lose as much heat in the winter time. So any hole, oh, there goes my gate. Any hole that I've seen it looks like it shouldn't be there, I've patched it up, I've sealed it, done what I can. So what I've done over here too is all along the bottom of the brick last year, what I originally done was just patch them all together using some simple caulking or polyurethane sealant. So now I'm going to do the next thing, less than a year later. I am going to drill that thing open again. So just in case you want to throw me up against the wall like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you destroying your house? Well, this is a mistake that me and I think a lot of other homeowners have done in the past. So any of you that owns a home and you have a vinyl siding over here, don't worry about it because it doesn't apply to you. The holes that I saw on the bottom was actually what is called weep holes. So imagine this. If you have a stone siding, if you have brick siding, this stuff is not going to deflect water if ever there's going to be some heavy rain. What happens with that is it actually absorbs it. So the idea with these weep holes is that they have them here like every 2, most likely 3 bricks drilled open over here. That way that whenever there's any water that gets in, it's going to be able to ventilate here to dry it up and eventually drain down here. Now, obviously, if you're going to be patching that up, you're probably going to be introducing a whole mess of problems too. Any water that's going to be absorbed here is not going to drain. It's just going to go into the back of the house. And in back of this is going to be pieces of wood, it's basically structure, so it'll cause you a mess of problems. Luckily, it's an easy fix that anybody can do, so don't be too afraid. And now, just as a good point of reference for you, this is what you're going to look for. You want to have a hole drilled into the wall here, but you don't want to go past, actually this is probably the best spot. If you look over here, this is the depth of your brick, and it should be roughly where it goes to. You don't want to go further than that, because you're going to be hitting your house wrap, or even some structure, which is going to still cause you some problems. Luckily, the way I have my drill bit set up is it stops around here, so it's more than enough leeway. So you're not going to get into too much trouble with that. You have a little bit of space, but then you're still going to have some ventilation and a place for the water to drain. So time to get started on that. There we are. Much better. At least now there's going to be some drainage. Any water that gets in here is now going to just flow outside on the side. That's how you're supposed to do it. So take it from me. Don't make the same mistake I did. If you see these holes on the side of the bricks, leave it. It's there for a reason. But there's one more element to this I should do. Next step, I'm going to cut a little bit of this fiberglass screen. You know, same kind of screen that you use to replace your screen doors, your windows. I have a little strategy in mind for this. You'll see exactly what I mean once I'm all cut up. There. That's good. Alright. I'm going to need to cut this a little bit shorter. And just as a reminder, always use a sharp blade. Because if it's not sharp, it's going to not cut properly, you're going to pull it apart, and that's where accidents happen. So what I'm doing here, I'm just taking just enough of this so I could roll it up, wrap it, and then shove it into this. Now, you're probably looking at this and thinking, the hell? Why would you want to do that? Well, here's the thing. Well, when I was working on my attic a little while back, and just in case you're wondering what it was like to crawl through the attic, well, look at the top right corner. I'm going to put a card for that old video. And essentially what I had learned is that in between my siding of the house and the interior part where the walls are, there is a bit of a gap around there, like maybe an inch gap, where this might actually penetrate into. Well, not penetrate, but it's all connected. So this hole over here is going to be around... This one is like roughly... I want to say like 5/8 of an inch thick or wide. Well, 5/8 of an inch, it's still too big. Because if you have anything that's like 1/4 of an inch, that is actually big enough that mice can get into a house. So it's kind of a weird system. Like, you need these holes in order for the bricks to breathe and dry out when it rains, but at the same time, that's also leaving it open to rodents. So the idea here is that this fiberglass screen is waterproof, it's cheap, you could cut it and then just shove it in here. There are going to be some other people online who say you can put... guys really love this motorcycle here. But yeah, there's people who say that you could put just stainless steel wool into this, which also does the job. But you have to make sure it's stainless steel and not just plain steel wool. Otherwise, it's just going to rust on you. Some places, like even on Home Depot or Amazon, are going to make these little meshes that you can fold and then shove into there. Trouble is that it's about 20 bucks for 10 of them. So if you have like a size house like mine that has 40, 50 holes, give or take, you're probably looking at 100 bucks just to get that put in. It's a lot. And hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. This is cost effective, but then it's also gonna get the job done. Okay, so I got 2 here, and probably somewhere in the 40 range left to do. Alright, I'm gonna tackle a little bit more before I get going on my other activities. And I guess in case you don't have a drill on you, you can always use, I guess, a hammer and a chisel, just something to get that gunk out of here. Once again, don't caulk your weep holes. It's gonna make them cry. That's why they're called weep holes, right? They weep, they cry. This is what happens if you have a big screen right in front of the house and you're playing the Titanic. They're gonna cry at the end of that film. Wait, what am I talking about again? Well, that's about a wrap for me. Turns out I had enough time to do a good amount. I think I hit about 12 weep holes. Now I can actually cry properly next time I want to watch a sad movie or hear a sad song. But that's like a secondary symptom. The primary thing is, I'm not going to have any damage to my house going forward. Nobody needs that to happen. So yeah, if you're a homeowner again, and you're like me, you see those holes, don't block them up. Well, I guess it's time to get my medicine, namely my beer. So how am I going to be starting off for the weekend? I'm probably going to be doing something like a lighter IPA or a session. Something that's going to be worthy of a good Duff beer. And I think I found just the right one. So what I have is something from the Pixel Brewer. They're mostly known for some video game related stuff, but in this case, they have a brew that is right up my alley, because they knew that someone like me was going to buy this no matter what. I bring to you the Springfield Session IPA. 4%, super light, and even though they probably couldn't secure the copyrights, clearly you know what this is supposed to go with. This is a good Simpsons-related beer. So I'm just going to enjoy this thing, pretend that I'm wandering through Duff Gardens, ready to take all the rides, go through that, what was it? Oh yeah, that parody of the whole It's a Small World After All ride at Disney World. The one that's, you know, Duff beer for me, Duff beer for you, blah, 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 blah. You know that tune. Actually, somebody cue it up.
Duff beer for me, Duff beer for you. I have a duck, you have
I may be a huge Simpsons fan, but even I have my limits of how much my sanity can be pushed. So cheers, here's to Friday brewing, to drainage in the house, and future cooking. Lovely. It's a tasty one and very light, so you might say, woohoo! There. That beer really hit the spot. I haven't finished it off, obviously. Still got plenty that I need to do. But I'm thinking it's time to start getting some grilling and supper all set up. So what I'm doing tonight is just like my last episode. A little bit of sweet potato fries to go along with my meat. Now, in case you don't remember it, then I'm going to put that card right there in the top right corner. And you'll be able to see what I had done the last time for the sweet potatoes. It's going to be very basic though. Salt, oil, maybe some garlic. Actually, I might hold off on the garlic. Simply because my meat, my pièce de résistance for today, is going to have enough garlic as is. So I don't think I'm going to need as much. So I'm just going to slice this up, take my time with it, and then get to my meat. It's already been prepping for most of the day, so I'm not going to be showing it from scratch. Time is critical, isn't it? Well, in the end, I only decided to use some salt and a bit of olive oil to get the potatoes done. Because like I said, I got more than enough garlic in my meat dish that I think I can get away with having no garlic whatsoever in there. And I got my fire set up, it's just a matter of having that all preheated. Which gives me plenty of time to have another brew right now. And I got just another one that I'm going to do. The other was a light session IPA. This one, New England IPA. So, Boreal IPA du Nord-Est, my precious bear juice. This stuff flies off the shelf like it's crack. When it's there, it's in quantities. And I'm always happy to have that. Time to have some of this beautiful ration. Ah yes, I've missed having this thing. I'm sure if I wanted to brew myself during the week, I could have had one. This just feels like it's a rarity that I should save it for the weekend when I can appreciate the beautiful things in life. Voila. And because I'm all set up, there. I decided to put the coffee table to good use that I built. Once again, I'm still going to need some extra epoxy, but hey, still good for a first time. And what's epoxy going to cost? Maybe $100 worth? Hopefully less than that, because this stuff ain't cheap. Oh well, it is what it is. See, 350 degrees, the grill is in, scraped off, nice healthy amount of ember. I think it's safe to say it's time to put the potatoes in, let them grill for minimum half an hour. I might do them for a little bit more than that, because you know, you gotta make sure they're well cooked, right? So, close it up, and we'll get to the pièce de résistance very soon. Sure, I'm getting a healthy amount of heat over here, so I'm going to need a little bit of time to get all of this stuff all set to go. And in case you're wondering what I'm going to be cooking tonight besides just random potatoes, well, let me give you a little look. Voila! It may not look as attractive in the bag, but I've put together my own Shish Taouk chicken. It's been marinating for a good 4 hours. And I think it'll be soaked up enough that I can throw it on the fire. Yeah, unlike my previous vlogs where I've showed the steps from start to finish, this one I actually didn't do completely. I'm just showing you the final product before it goes onto the grill. I guess today, because I was improvising, time was money. I assume time is money because I'm not exactly getting paid to do this. Somebody give me money, damn it. Ooh, excuse me. But in case you are curious like how to put this shish taouk together, I guess there's another way that I can show it to you. So let's take a trip down to the table. So everyone, since I didn't have a chance to show the start to finish process for my shish taouk chicken, let me give you a rundown of what you're going to need in case you ever want to do this yourself. And maybe down the road, I'll end up doing a revisit of this just like I did with my burgers in the past. So if you're going to be doing any shish taouk marinades, you're going to need these basic ingredients. First off is going to be plain old standard issue olive oil. You know, pretty common thing when you're doing like Mediterranean chicken, and you can't really call it oily bird without this stuff. You only need about 1/4 cup of it, so nothing too heavy. Then you're going to mix it with 1/2 cup of plain yogurt. Yep, plain yogurt, same ingredient used to make tzatziki. And I guess, well, they do recommend to use whole milk yogurt, but your mileage may vary for how thick you want it to be. But one thing I could probably tell you to do, when you're at the store, make sure you buy the plain yogurt, not the vanilla yogurt, because you don't want it to taste like a vanilla cake at all. Dessert and chicken, it's a bad combo. After that, in terms of liquids, lemon juice. You're going to need around 1/4 cup of this too. I'm sure you could probably juice a lemon with 1/4 cup of it, but if you don't have that, this will come in handy as well. And then your last liquid ingredient is tomato paste. Not bad, though not something I would consider using in my shish taouk, but to be fair, this is my first time exploring this. You don't need too much of it, you just need 1 tablespoon worth. I got plenty more here. Gotta find a use for this eventually. And just like your Greek chicken, the most important ingredient is your garlic. Yeah, I don't have to show you a garlic jar because you know what that looks like. In terms of how much you need, you would probably need about 6 cloves of it. And you don't have to dice it up, just make sure you put it in a garlic press, crush it up. That's the ideal way for it, because then all the juices will mix in together. And then, in terms of your dry rub, well maybe not dry rub, but your seasoning you're going to put with that, you're going to be needing your basics, salt and pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt with 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Makes sense, doesn't it? And then here's some of the other stuff you're going to need too for that. Paprika, which is going to be around 1 teaspoon worth. Paprika for me is like a bonding agent, like gives a color, but also helps tie everything together in spices. Once again, just like Greek chicken, oregano. I think this is going to require 1/2 teaspoon of it. So, you know, typical stuff. If it ain't got oregano, it ain't truly Greek. But then is it truly Mediterranean then? Whatever. Then you would probably need another 1/2 teaspoon of another seasoning. Ground ginger for a distinct flavor. Someone will probably say you could use fresh ginger with that, and I could fully understand it, because you get the fresh seasoning, you get the fresh taste and the juices too. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll try with that. And then lastly, is what I never would have thought would go into chicken at all. You would put cinnamon. Can you believe it? Cinnamon in chicken. I never would have guessed it on my own. If you want to know the quantities, you need about 3/4 of a teaspoon of this stuff. Not bad. Definitely an unorthodox amount. I've seen cinnamon used in pork, I've seen it used in maybe even some beef, but never in chicken. I guess it's the first time for anything. And I guess you could consider the fact that in the grand scheme of things, of everything you're putting in, if you're doing 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, it's just like for maybe mild flavoring, especially when you compare it to all the other stuff you're adding in. So then you mix that in a bowl, and then in a bag, you're going to put around 2 pounds of chicken breast, all cubed up, because you want to put into skewers. Add all of this in here, mix it up, and then throw it into the bag, let it marinate for a minimum of 4 hours. They say that the best results are going to give you... They say you're going to get the best results overnight if you're marinating it. But because, like I said, I'm not exactly working with time on my side, 4 hours will get the job done too. Plus whatever time it's stewing in its own juices. So do that, add it onto skewers, you're going to have some shish taouk. And there you have it. Tasty stuff. Can't wait to eat this. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sure these things are cooking pretty well. Time to get these moved over and to start putting my chicken on. So here's what I'm going to be doing to get this all cooked up. First, I'm going to need some plastic gloves so I don't infect myself. And I'm going to need some skewers. You don't need anything too fancy, just some bamboo skewers like this and I'll get the job done. Or you can use like metal ones if you want to wash instead of getting it to waste. It's all up to you. So I'm going to do that. I am going to... Hard to get the finger in. It's like something made this melt. Who knows anymore? What a beauty. Okay, so let's get this open. Ugh. How am I going to make this work? Just like this. You basically just have to fill up your skewer until it's full of chicken. Something like that. There we go. 1, 2. There it goes. All those juices that you hear dripping are going onto the fire, but not the end of the world because it's gonna. I got some chicken juice on my skewers. Ah well, gotta wash it up. And that's the way to go. And then you give it like a good 5 minutes on each side, flip it, then you're ready for eating. Not bad. Whoop. This thing has started set on fire. As long as it doesn't fire up like my oily bird from last time, I should be okay. Oh, precious carbon fumes. How I miss these. Yeah, keep going with that until there's no more chicken like I says. There we are. That. Do another one. And then keep going. This is going to take some time. Get the glove off. Okay, I've cleaned myself up and I cleaned up this mess. Let's see how this is looking. Ooh, yes. So I'm going to just flip them off. Flip them around, not flip them off. That would be kind of mean for them, wouldn't it? There. Ooh, no! Yeah, this is not going the way I hoped it would. Ideally, you're supposed to just let this cook for 5 minutes on each side. And then it should be good for eating. Oh, nuts. Yeah, I'm probably going to have some rations of chicken that are going to be falling apart. And probably going up in flames too. Just like the last time. Yeah, something you just can't really control, can you? Actually, you can control, but incompetence and etc. It's had a few more minutes. Let's take a look. Ooh, that heavenly smell. Loving it. I should probably... Yeah, let these flip. Probably not the best of ideas, but whatever. I'm trying to get this all done ASAP. I'm hungry now. I'll admit it. And those potatoes are probably more than done, but I'll let them go a little bit quicker because better safe than sorry. I had to take some of the potatoes off to make some room, but I guess this is a good opportunity to find out if these are cooked properly. They're okay. Maybe I should give them a few more minutes because it is still slightly crispy. Yeah, probably for the best. Let's do that. And no, I'm not burning my tongue on this one. I'm not going to be an idiot. At least the last time that happened, I could say that it was because I was possessed by a demon who didn't know any better. Am I right? Yeah, blame the demon. That's always a safe bet. Anyways, let's see if I can move on to round 3. Because it's Friday. So what have I got to here? I've got Trois Mousquetaires, or Three Musketeers as you would say in English, and I got their IPA. This is one of those that used to be only available in the 750 milliliter bottle, which is easy to share with a couple of friends when you're allowed to be with friends in this day and age. But at least now it's in can form, so it's less of a guilt trip if ever you're having this. I find that with the texture though with this, and I'm sure I'm probably repeating myself somewhere, the texture, the taste, the filteriness or lack of filteriness, it's almost like a New England IPA before I really knew what that was. But yeah, loved it back then when I first discovered it, and now I love it the way it is because I know better, because I'm worth it. Yeah, someone wants to probably lock me up in the padded cell. Go ahead, I don't care. I think it's safe to say that everything is ready. Oh yes. So I think I'm going to take like 1, maybe 2 skewers and have that for myself for supper today. And then the rest I'm going to put aside. Alright, let's get this all done and then we'll wrap things up very soon, everyone. I don't want to make this a too long vlog. Well, I'm only going to figure that out once I'm in the editing room. Hey, as long as people are entertained, I'm all good. All these chickens are going to be grilled up. Try to get every scrap possible. And for myself, 1 helping the potatoes. The rest we'll put aside, and we'll catch you later. Supper should be served now. Of course, I had to do a final touch for myself. I had to do some pita bread. Because hey, if you're going to be doing Shish Taouk, you can't do it without pita. I don't know, it's a fact of life, you got to do it that way. Now, I'm going to give this chicken a taste test. The big test is going to be, yep, it's not pink. That's already a good sign. No, you don't, Musketeer. Yeah, really tasty, man. This actually gets a really good job done. The marinade, even if it's only been in the fridge for about a good 4, maybe 5 hours, super delicious. It's super tender. Of course, if you're at a Shish Taouk restaurant, typically they have these pieces of chicken all stacked up upon each other on a roller that's continuously heating it up, and then they just slice up as they go. So that's the way I always remembered it, is this way. This is also pretty good and effective too. Yep, so color me satisfied. And I guess I'll just finish things up in the yard while it's still relatively warm out here. So thanks for watching, everyone. This has been another edition of the Wandering Ukie Cheese Cafe in the yard. So if you like what you see, you can hit that subscribe button to get any future details. Hit the like if you like what you see, because then that video is going to be promoted down the road. You know, got to share the love, tenderness, and cheese everywhere you can. And above all else, keep smiling. Peace.